Yo, what is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the Spectacular Spider-Man Season 3. This is episode 11, but if you guys don't want to miss the amazing, action-packed final few episodes of this series, make sure you're subscribed with the post notifications on. I've also got to mention that Season 4 and 5 are happening as well. We're going to follow this series right through to the end of Season 5. But without further ado, let's get into this. Episode 11, Filmmaking 101. We start our episode between an injured Spider-Man and Captain Stacy. He asks how he knew his identity, and Captain Stacy tells Peter that he always knew, even way back in Season 1. He says he's always had an inkling that something was going on with Peter. He says all those rumors a few months back about him being responsible for Norman Osborn's death just weren't true. He knows the type of person Spider-Man is, and the type of person Peter Parker is. Peter is shocked, but also delighted that he has someone sticking his neck out for him all this time, and he's appreciative. And this nice scene between the two, there's a mutual respect. Stacy respects what Spider-Man stands for and who he is, and likewise. They then go on to talk about the Goblin, and Peter says that it was him, and there's no one else it could be. There's no one else who could use pumpkin bombs in that same fashion, other than the Green Goblin himself. Captain Stacy questions himself whether they got the right man by arresting Harry Osborn. Peter stays quiet during this time, however, as to not rat out his best friend. The conversation ends and Peter leaves. After, though, there is someone that arrives at the police station who wants to talk to Captain Stacy. Her name is Emma Edwards, a film student at Empire State University who is making a student film, a documentary for her film class about Spider-Man and his rivalry with the Green Goblin. Captain Stacy refuses to talk to her as he cannot give away classified information. Emma leaves the police station disappointed, but says desperate times call for desperate measures. If she wants this documentary to be done, there's one man who could give her all the answers. That's Spider-Man himself. I know this character seems kind of random at the moment, but you guys will understand the importance of this character later on in the episode and in the next one as well. We cut on to later in the episode, and Harry Osborn is released from prison, as more evidence has arisen which indirectly don't tie him to any of the Goblin's crimes, as he still exists out there somewhere. Not only that, Wilson Fisk has gone missing too. Harry returns home to his mother at the Osborn mansion. We get a scene where Harry and his mother embrace. She can't believe she has finally got her son back in her arms. A couple of scenes later, and we cut on to Peter Parker hearing about the news of Harry's release. He thinks it's better he sees him. After all, what friend would he be if he wasn't there for him? Peter arrives at Harry's house. He knocks on the door and Emily opens it. She says that Harry isn't very well and she doesn't think that anyone should be visiting at the moment. Peter says that it's his best friend and he just wants to see how he's getting on. Despite everything that has happened over the last couple of episodes, Peter loves Harry and he'll always love him. Harry is sent out to greet Peter, but he doesn't look happy. Peter, just trying to be friendly, is dismissed by Harry, saying that Peter is a rat, just like everyone else. This catches him off guard, but Harry goes on to explain how he knows his and Gwen's plan to get together and to leave him and Liz, and how it's stretched all the way back to Season 2. Peter, scrambling for words on what to say, looks down and sighs. He says he's sorry. Harry says sorry doesn't cut it. Not this time. He's threw their friendship back in his face so many times over the last year and a half, but that was a new low, even for Peter. Harry says he's done, and to get out of his house. Peter leaves glum, but understanding of Harry. Him and Gwen shouldn't have been talking about getting together behind his back, nor him or Liz. Neither of them deserved it. He already got his payback from Liz back in episode 3, but now Harry has come back to bite him too. We cut to the next scene, and Peter meets up with Gwen at school. They're sitting on a bench outside having lunch together. Peter explains what Harry had told him, and Gwen sulks, but then looks up to meet Peter in his eyes. She says that she likes him. She says that she likes him a lot, and they should just stop beating around the bush. They both like each other. Peter says that he agrees, as he stretches his hand out and holds Gwen's. Gwen says that first, they'll have to wait till this whole saga with Harry is over. After all, he said he was the Green Goblin. Who knows what he's capable of? You don't want to make the wrong move. You don't want to do something that could make it worse. The Spider-Man side of Peter knows this, but knows that if anything were to happen, he would be the first to know, and he'd keep Gwen safe. But ultimately, since he can't reveal his identity, he also agrees with Gwen. We cut back to inside the halls of Midtown High, and Peter is taking his sweater off at his locker, which reveals a massive big bruise on Peter's elbow and arm from the explosion at Oscorp Tower. It's something that looked quite severe and unnatural. Mary Jane Watson notices this from afar and approaches Peter. She asks him if he's gone to the nurse about that. Looks like something quite big bit him. And Peter says no, he's fine. He did it playing sports. MJ goes on to say that she didn't know that he played sports much, in a flirty manner. Peter sarcastically responds with, "That's one of the reasons why I don't much," as he alludes to his bruise. MJ gets serious for a second, however, saying that she's heard through their aunts talking to each other that Peter is having a difficult time. She says that she's heard that he's been down and quite distant recently because of the situation with Harry. Peter says that he's fine, but MJ says to keep your head up, Tiger, and gives a cheeky smirk before Peter walks off. We can see in this scene in MJ's eyes that she resonates with Peter about something here. The intrigue of Peter's secrets keeps her on her toes, but also she relates as she has some secrets of her own. We cut on to after school and Peter is at the Daily Bugle handing photos in to good old J. Jonah Jameson. The Daily Bugle's sales have been on a decline since the interest in Spider-Man's demise has been decreasing. Jonah says that he can't pay Peter as much as he usually would because of the decline in sales. He explains to Peter that in the next few months, the Bugle is going to hit a rough patch. He proclaims positively though that Spider-Man will screw up again sometime. Peter resonates with this for a moment, thinking that him and Aunt May haven't really had that many money troubles recently because Peter has been chipping some to the bills, that he might just be back to square one after all. Peter leaves the Bugle and bumps into none other than Emma Edwards outside, the film student from the start of the episode. She immediately asks him about Spider-Man and how he got the pictures of him. Peter says that he just gets lucky and asks Emma to explain herself. Emma says that she wants to do a documentary about Spider-Man for her film class and wants to do an interview with him. Peter says that Spider-Man doesn't give interviews, and Emma asks, how does Peter know that? Peter, nervously scrambling for an answer, just says that he knows him, and that he knows that he wouldn't. Emma hesitantly lets Peter get on with his day, but thinks something is suspicious about him. On Peter's way home, Emma ultimately follows him, until a police car races past. Peter notices this, and immediately goes into an alleyway, and out comes Spider-Man. Emma knew something was up, as she grants a keen smirk. Spider-Man arrives on the crime scene and starts to take out thugs one by one, quipping as he does it in classic Spider-Man fashion. Emma also arrives on the scene a little bit later. She starts recording, but she gets caught in the crossfire, and Spider-Man swoops in to save her. As soon as Peter realizes who it is, his eyes widen, and Emma discreetly whispers that she knows his secret. Spider-Man goes on to deal with the rest of the thugs. We cut onto the next scene at the top of a building, where Spider-Man and Emma talk. Emma says that she followed Peter, and she knows that he's Spider-Man. Peter, astonished by this, says that this is next level creepy. He says that she can't do that. Emma asks for an interview, and Peter says no way. Emma says that if he doesn't give an interview, she can just give out his secret identity. After all, she now has that power. And to this, Peter complies and says fine, one interview, but no more. And then you forget that you ever saw him as Spider-Man. During the interview, Peter talks about the fights he's had with Green Goblin, but doesn't rat Harry's name out. In fact, he doesn't really talk about anyone else personally, only the base level fights that he's had with some of his supervillains. Simply, Peter gives her as blunt information as he possibly can, but enough for her documentary. He tells her about Fisk and the whole situation as well. After the interview, Emma says thank you. Peter respects the hustle and says it's very smart, but to never do that ever again, and to never tell anyone he's Spider-Man, as the mask and his powers carry a whole lot of responsibility, and the answers he gave her in a student project carry a lot of weight and responsibility too. Emma nods, and Spider-Man swings off. She looks down though, maybe what Peter said was true. Even still, she isn't done. There's one piece of the puzzle missing. She wants the end of the mystery too, just like Peter. Who is the Goblin? As Peter swings off into the night, there's still much to be done, but the final showdown is nearly here. Fisk is out there somewhere, and along with him, probably the Goblin too. But how? Peter isn't sure quite yet, but he's sure he'll find out very, very soon. That is it for episode 11 of Spectacular Spider-Man. Season 3, episode 12 and 13 are next. Make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss them. It's going to be a wild, wild finale. I cannot wait for you guys to see how everything ties together and just to tie the story up of Season 3. Hopefully you're all enjoying it. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care and peace.